Hello and welcome again in the afternoon session of the scientific conference International Day of Science. My name is Michal Menšik and I'm the chair of the afternoon session. We have scheduled 5 papers in the first portion of the afternoon session. And the first paper is Impact of COVID-19 on the car industry in the EU, CR, and onKoyo bearings, which will be presented by Petr Novák. So I'd like to ask Petr Novák, can we hear and see each other? I'm not sure whether we have a sound right now. Petr Novák, are you ready to start with your presentation?
Yes, hello, can you hear me, please?
Perfect. So the floor is yours.
Excellent. So thank you very much for the invitation for the Conference of International Days of Science. And I'd like to thank the organizers of the conference to invite me to this great event. First, let me please introduce myself. My name is Petr Novák and I'm a director of corporate planning of JTEC European Operations. JTEC, let me quickly introduce to you, is part of Toyota Motor Company. It's one of the group companies owned by Toyota. And in Europe, we have 16 manufacturing plants employing over 7,000 employees. In the Czech Republic, we have 4 manufacturing plants, one in Olomouc, where I am residing, one in Pardubice, and 2 in Pilsen. Regarding quick introduction of myself, I am originally from the Czech Republic. I have studied in the United States 2 universities, one in Pennsylvania focused on international business and finance, and second in Chicago, in Illinois, MBA at DePaul University. In 2001, I was asked to move from US back to Czech Republic, and I started here to start these operations of the greenfield manufacturing plant here. Started originally in finance function, and then since 2008 until 2018, I assumed position of plant manager and then later president of the factory. 2019, I moved to a position in Japan at our global headquarters in Nagoya, where I worked for a team responsible for some global improvement process at JTEC. And recently, 2020, about 1 year ago, I took this position as director of corporate planning at our headquarters in Lyon, France, responsible for management system of our corporation, which consists of organization structure, meeting structure, monitoring tools, KPIs we have in our corporation in Europe. I am responsible for risk management, and I'm also responsible and cooperate on our strategy in terms of footprint, what we make, where we make it, what manufacturing sites. So it's a quick introduction of myself. So I'm happy to be here as part of today's conference call. Let me share my presentation with you. And the topic of today's presentation will be Czech automotive industry and its current situation after COVID. So I want to ensure you can see the presentation. So I will briefly ask, do you please see my presentation? I have not heard a response, so I assume you are seeing my presentation, please.
Yes, we can see that.
Yes.
Perfect. Okay, very good. Thank you for confirmation. So the presentation consists of 3 parts. First part is focused on automotive industry in the Czech Republic and so-called Autosub Association, which is an automotive industry association in the Czech Republic. Second part will be focused on automotive industry, the economic data and COVID impact for not only Czech Republic, but also Europe and a global view. And the third part will be focused on automotive industry expectations in this year, 2021. So we have a lot of topics to cover, not much time, so I will go immediately to the first topic, which is a quick introduction of automotive industry in the Czech Republic. and this Automotive Industry Association. I am part of Czech Automotive Industry Association. I'm on the board of this association. So through this, I can also explain what we are, who we are, and what we focus on. So the first part is introduction of this industry in the Czech Republic, automotive. So automotive industry produces 26% of industrial production. It creates 23% of exports of the Czech Republic. And when we look at the numbers of vehicles produced in 2019, we have produced 1.5 million vehicles. And in 2020, and you can here see the impact of COVID, 1.2 million vehicles. On the right, we can see the numbers in terms of employment. So directly through the companies that are part of these automotive industry associations, we employ 180,000 employees. And if we include employees in the sub-suppliers, or subcontractors, in total, we employ over 500,000 employees in the Czech Republic. In overall, we invest more than 36% of all industrial R&D investment in the Czech Republic. What's not listed here is automotive industry represents 10% of Czech Republic gross domestic product. In terms of number of cars produced per capita, we are second in the world after Slovakia. In terms of buses, we are number one worldwide per capita. And if we take absolute numbers in terms of how many vehicles we produce, we are number 5 in Europe, and we are number 15 worldwide. So these numbers clearly show this automotive industry is really important for this country. And our main mission is to ensure that the future automotive trends which are happening at the moment and which are the greatest since the history of automotive industry, this will stay also in the future. Here you can see the map of the Czech Republic, and you can see all the companies that are part of the Automotive Industry Association. And you can see that it's spread quite evenly throughout the country. We have large OEM customers, which are, of course, Škoda Auto, which is the largest in the Czech Republic. We have Toyota Motor Manufacturing Czech, which has a very nice factory in Kolín. And then we have Hyundai Motor Manufacturing Czech in Nošovice, in northeast Moravia, which is producing Hyundai vehicles for not only Europe, but they also export to Middle East and Russia. We also have final OEMs in terms of buses, part of Iveco. We have SOR Lipchavy, which is also very large bus producer. We have truck maker Tatra, which has a great history here in the Czech Republic and is well known worldwide. And we also have motorcycles like Java, which are produced here. So the automotive industry is not only about cars, but as you can see, it's also about buses, it's about motorcycles, it's about trucks and trailers. On the next slide, we represent here the number of companies which are present in this Automotive Industry Association. There are 139. Out of this, 87 are suppliers, which are focused on production of parts and also services in the automotive industry. We have 39 companies which are under category others, and these are research and development centers, these are universities, and these are other non-profit organizations or R&D companies which are focused in the automotive industry. And the last OEM, which is of course the most important, which are the final makers in the Czech Republic, which I already mentioned, like Škoda Auto, Toyota, or Hyundai. So in total, final makers we have in the Czech Republic are 13. What we offer is, this is an association to ensure that we continue this strong influence and presence of the automotive industry in the Czech Republic. We offer a networking platform for our members, many events and meetings. We publish newsletters and magazines focused on automotive trends, interviews, interesting changes in terms of environmental points. We also make a lot of lobbying, not only here in the Czech Republic, but also at EU, especially now with the environmental emissions. We provide information to our members. We support our companies for exports into countries through also, of course, government agencies, into countries where companies don't have the experience, are not established, to ensure that they can export successfully. We provide industry analytics and statistics, PR and media coverage, our support for the members, and then, of course, many projects for our employees, members through like education. Example is here, battery research for electricity vehicles, and any consultations. So the spread of our presence is quite large. And with, again, the main mission is to continue the strong presence and focus of the automotive industry, especially now with the latest trends happening worldwide. So that's the first part of the introduction of automotive industry in the Czech Republic. Second will be now focused on the economic data of the automotive industry and the COVID impact for Czech Republic, European Union, and also global view. So first on this slide is information provided on sales and exports of automotive companies here in the Czech Republic. You can see on the bottom the legend from the year 2009 until 2019. Year 2020 and the first months of 2021 I will show in the next slides. As you can see, since 2009 until 2019, every year we have been increasing sales and exports of automotive industry here in the Czech Republic. So it's been very positive, very good, fruitful time period for our country. We started sales in 2009 at 516 billion Czech crowns, and it progressively grew every year until 2019 at 1.1 trillion Czech crowns of sales, which were made by automotive companies. Growth over 2018 was 1.9%. Exports, very similar trend line. So out of 1.1 trillion sales, exports were 942 billion. So we can see that we are an export country, and export for us is absolutely important. And this is why this global view for us as automotive industry is very, very important. On this slide, we can see change impact for year 2020. First, we will look at the global number for the year, and then in the next slide, I will show you by month. So for the global number, we can say that in 2020, we have reduced total production of vehicles by 19%. It's a major hit for us in the Czech Republic. So we have produced 1.1 million vehicles, 1.2 rounded million vehicles, which consists of passenger cars at 1.1 million vehicles, a reduction of 19.2% compared to previous year. Then buses at 5,000, slight reduction, only 2.8% compared to previous year. Motorcycles, 553, it's a major reduction of 43%, and trailers, 26,000, and a slight improvement of 1% compared to previous year. And we look at the slide by month, and here it nicely shows, if I say nicely, but of course it's very negative information for us, is sales by month compared 2019 to 2020. So 2019 is a gray color, and you can see each month how many vehicles have been produced in the Czech Republic. So for example, January 115,000, February 116,000. And it was quite even, no major changes during the months. The only exception, of course, is July and December, and this is affected by summer shutdowns of the final makers. The red line represents 2020, and you can see that January, February 2020, we started the year on a positive note. It was a slight improvement over 2019, and we have already made communication announcements that we expected 2020, this was before COVID, would be about the same level as 2019, because nobody predicted that this major impact of COVID would happen for automotive industry. Then in March, COVID suddenly came unexpectedly. Many of the automakers have been shut down completely, usually 4 to 6 weeks here in the Czech Republic. And this has been spread between the months of March, April, and some companies also beginning of May. And this is why the numbers have significantly dropped during those months. All the member companies have took very important preventive measures to ensure that safety and health of our employees is at first place. And then only after ensuring that we have these preventive measures in place, and I will show you some examples later, companies gradually reopened, because again, the safety and health of our employees was absolutely must, absolutely first. Then, as the first wave of COVID started to disappear, production of automotive vehicles came back to reasonable numbers and copied very similar levels of 2019. So you can see from June, July, August, we were hitting almost the same numbers. In November, it was a big peak in 2019. But when we take all of those numbers as an average, we have seen that the automotive industry, after the first wave, have took very, again, strong preventive measures, have been able to successfully reopen their production sites, produce the vehicles according to customer demand. And what is very important is that there was still this demand, not only here in the Czech Republic, but as has been showed, we are an export country globally, which helped that this automotive industry was sustainable, even during this very difficult COVID time in 2020. At the end, we can see the average for the year, which is the minus 19.2%, which I mentioned in the previous slides. When we look at this COVID impact in terms of unproduced cars, I start from the left. It was 275,000 vehicles, which were not being produced in the Czech Republic in 2020 during this COVID time. It has decreased sales of 105 billion Czech crowns for the final OEMs. It has decreased sales of suppliers of 75 billion Czech crowns. And if we take the full year picture, we expect about 210 billion Czech crowns was a decline of sales for the whole Czech Republic country automotive industry. So it's a major, major hit for us. So that was a view of Czech Republic. Here on this slide, we can see a view of global production outlook in 20. And we can see that the numbers have quite varied region by region. So I will start again from the left. So North and South America minus 30%. So I'm sure you have all been very informed as you have read the newspapers, watched TV, and about the COVID wave in North and South America. So we can see here also the sales have been significantly impacted for that region. In Europe, when we take average of the European Union, the decline was 25%. Middle East, minus 10%, and Asia, minus 15%. And Czech Republic was 20%, which I showed in the previous slide. So when we take all of this information, we can say that Asia came out as, if I use this terminology, it's the best in these very difficult times. Europe, about 1/4 of decline of sales, and Czech Republic, as it's exporting a lot of the vehicles and also parts in the automotive supply chain to regions outside of Europe. And we have many customers in Asia, has been impacted by 20%, so slightly less than European Union. Our outlook for 2021, so this is the positive news, is expecting a nice recovery. So when we look at the region by region numbers, again from the left, North and South America, about 10% increase. Europe, also 10% increase. Asia, which is confirming also by the sales of the recent months, plus 30%. And Czech Republic, we copy Europe at 10%. So based on these numbers, we do expect that the worst is behind us. And we do expect that this increase of sales will support us again for the sustainability and long-term success of this automotive industry, not only Czech Republic, but worldwide. Here is more detailed numbers of 2021, as we have already closed the first quarter, January, February, March 2021. So when we compare 2021, we did not start too well on a positive note. January decline of -22%, February -15%. And when we take the whole first quarter, it's -1%. Why? If I say only -1%, because March came out very strong. And as you have seen in the previous slide, March 2020 has been already impacted by this first wave of COVID, where there was a significant decline of production and sales. So for the Czech Republic, this is the month for the Czech Republic. We are almost about the same level as the year before. Again, the expectation for the full year, which is the number in gray on the right, is plus 10%. Same view for Europe, for European Union. So December 2020, -3%, January -12%, February -19%, and new numbers have been just announced for the first quarter. So I don't have it in the presentation, but I will say verbally, it was -3.2% when we take the first quarter of 2021. So you can see again that March was strong for Europe compared to previous year, again impacted by first wave. And we are at about the same level as last year. And the expectations is that these sales to hit this plus 10% will gradually improve and increase in the next months as we see quite good and stable outlook from our customers. But not everything, of course, is bright, and we are affected in the automotive industry by many trends. And those trends are shown here, impacts that we have to really closely watch. First one, Brexit. Yes, as England is not part of European Union, so many issues on the logistics transport. Tariffs are resolved for time being. We don't have to pay customs and duties. But this is still under negotiation after this temporary time period. Transport from Asia. This is a big issue in automotive industry, capacity of containers, and also a major increase of transportation costs through the sea on the containers. It's the cheapest way to transport goods. And as the automotive industry is a global supply chain, we do import and export a lot of goods from Asia and to Asia. And this sea shipment is very critical for us. Unfortunately, we have seen in the last 6 months a major increase of transport from Asia. And this cost is negatively impacting us. Of course, you know about Suez Canal issue that happened, about Ever Given, large boat that have stuck in Suez Canal. And this, of course, impacted also many of automotive OEMs. And we have seen that some OEMs have been impacted, that they did not have components, and the same for the suppliers. So this transport from Asia is very, very important factor, which we have to watch from 2 points of view. One is cost, and one is ability to deliver, again, because of capacity and any unexpected issues like this Suez Canal problem. Third item is free movement of goods and people inside of EU. As individual states inside of European Union impose restrictions in terms of travel of people, in terms of travel across borders, this significantly impacts, of course, transportation. And as again, this is a global supply chain, and we have suppliers global, and in Europe especially, there are many trucks going daily between companies. We have to ensure that those borders are opened. And that there are no slowdowns and restrictions. And for example, when the border was closed between Czech Republic and Germany, this caused a major issue on our members here in the automotive industry to supply parts on time, or on the other hand, we had a supplier outside of Czech Republic to get them delivered to our final OEMs on time. COVID. So there's a major, of course, uncertainty about the next steps and how this pandemic situation will develop. We do believe and expect that through vaccination, this will greatly improve, that the worst is behind us. Our sales numbers are supporting it. But again, nobody knows, because this pandemic situation is very, very unexpected. It's an unprecedented situation. Next one is chips, semiconductor chips. I'm sure you have heard, but globally in the world, there is a lack of semiconductor chips. There's not enough of them to supply all industries, especially small electronics like telephones, electronics, TVs, where there is many semiconductors. And in the automobile, there is many semiconductors used, especially now with the safety elements enforced by EU legislation. For example, line control, parking assistance, all of these are semiconductors that have to be installed in the automobiles. And due to global lack of capacity of semiconductor, this affects final OEMs, and some companies had been forced already to shut down their production sites. Example, TMM CZ, which is a Toyota motor manufacturing Czech, closed the factory for 2 weeks. Škoda Auto, it has to reschedule its production based on the availability of semiconductor chips. Fortunately, they did not shut down yet, but it's very, very tight situation. Daimler in Germany, in Rastatt, they had to also close their factory. So this is very difficult now, and we basically live very on a tight mode, where we have to wait on the information if some unprecedented, let's say, delivery problem happens, and then it affects the whole supply chain. And this is especially true in the automotive industry, because all of this is just in time, with not enough safety stock. And last point mentioned here, which is a transformation of automotive industry. So this is all the changes, all the trends which are affecting with e-mobility, yes, with plug-in electric vehicles, with automation, with digitalization, connectivity inside of cars. So all those trends, of course, are affecting all companies which are inside of auto industry. So what was the impact for the company here in Koyo Bearings, Czech Republic? So this is a picture of this factory, which is located in Olomouc region. As I mentioned, it's part of JTEC Corporation. We have 16 plants in Europe, so this one is in Olomouc. And very quickly, this is the sales of this company here, and you can see highlighted in blue this COVID impact. And as you can see, this COVID impact from April until about August. July and August, please take as reserved because of summer shutdown. So we had it about 2 to 3 months when we have seen an impact from April to June of reduced sales numbers. But then what is important is the second part, which is from September, October 2020 until March 2021. You can see a major increase, continued increased trend of the sales, which shows that the worst, at least at the moment, we see that the worst of this COVID impact is behind us, and we are on a way to full recovery before COVID times. What, of course, will happen in the next months will greatly depend on those impacts, those trends I have mentioned on the previous slides. More specifically, as I mentioned, safety and healthy of our employees was a mandate in the Czech Republic. So this is an example of this company preventive action plan. What was done to ensure that this health and safety of employees first before production, before sales, before profit. So examples are here: prepared an emergency plan for pandemic situation, enforce 100% temperature control when entering plant. We prohibited any employee to come inside of a plant with a higher temperature. We provided disinfectants to wash hands, all the premises like offices, canteens, locker rooms. We provided mandatory face masks, eyeglasses, and now it's 100% of respirators to all employees, which we of course provide free of charge. Maximum air exchange from outside, so we have enforced to maximum air ventilation. We cancelled all visitors inside the factory. We enforced the home office to office employees. So if you would walk through the plant, it's quite empty in the offices because we want people to work from home. We increased the level of IT equipment for online meetings and home offices. The meetings inside of the factory have been cancelled. They are replaced by online meetings. Production meetings, which production of course has to continue, they are only in small groups. Sitting order is respecting 2-meter distance. We installed plastic shields in offices, in canteen support departments. In production, we have made some change in our standard work for the operators to make a distance of the workers. And we have enforced some safety quantity of face masks, gloves, respirators, disinfectants, in case a new wave will come, that we have enough supply. Third part of the presentation, I see I have 5 minutes, so I think we have a good time, is the automotive industry expectations for 2020. So what do we expect? So I'm using this information from the European Automotive Supplier Association, CLEPA, where the vaccination, the 5 trends, themes that impact the recovery in 2021 is first, vaccinations and relaunch of the economy. Second, electrification and this recovery of automotive sales. Third, repaying the COVID debts, because many of the companies have a very tight cash flow. Many companies have at the end been in a negative profit. So this is absolutely important that they survive these difficult times. Number 4, implementation of this European Recovery Fund, which will help all the member countries to invest, which will include, of course, automotive sector. And number 5 is the crisis aftermath, which is the risks and upsides that we see for this after COVID time period. Very quickly, so vaccination. So we know that now throughout Europe, not only Europe, but worldwide, vaccination is very important for us to really reopen the economy, reopen the countries, reopen the borders, and to put this pandemic situation at least under reasonable control. So this is absolutely must that is happening in all the countries with the vaccinations that have been approved by the European Commission. Electrification of vehicles. We do expect, and this is the first chart on the left top, that the sale of electric vehicles, BEV is battery electric vehicles, will increase significantly. And you can see China, European Union, United States. 2019, 20, 25, 30. You can see this significant increase, 25 and 30 in all countries around the world. Now in the US, also expected with Joe Biden, who is now putting back environmental protection and is discussing about support of electric vehicles. So we do expect the US numbers will even more increase. This is the trend that is impacting us in a global point of view. And this is why automotive OEMs and the suppliers have to watch this trend very carefully to be prepared. You can see here on this slide, sale of electric vehicles by individual final maker, OEM. So Daimler, for example, 18% of the sales have been electric vehicles. BMW 16, Kia 17. This includes hybrid electric vehicles, but you can see that the numbers are still quite low compared to what is expected in the future. And on the right is the gap to target, means to the environmental emissions, CO2, where many companies still have to continue to improve. Because in front of us is a new legislation, we call it Euro 7, we are now under Euro 6. With the Euro 7, which will start in 2025, the legislation of CO2 emissions will dramatically reduce again. And this is why there is a strong support for these electric vehicles sales globally, which will meet these emission limits. We as automotive industry are independent, we are neutral, because we believe that there are other means to achieve it, through synthetic engines, synthetic fuels, excuse me. We believe that it could be through hybrids, it could be through other means that could help us to achieve those environmental emission limits. Next topic is the European fund, which is committed to each country. So you can see here on the scale on the left bottom that Czech Republic, for example, allocated 9.4 billion euro. Italy, much greater, about 200 billion euro. Spain, about 150 billion euro. So this money, each country is now preparing this plan where to invest, recovery and resilience plan, into what means, and this will be a lot into investment into research and development to support these trends. And this is the last slide, which is the political elections, which is ahead of us on the bottom. So in January 20, US change to Joe Biden, as mentioned, more environmentally supporting, which will impact also the change to e-mobility. In March in Netherlands. In September, elections in Germany, October, Czech Republic, and then in 22, presidential and general elections in France. All of those, of course, may impact where we head and what those countries will enforce. So that was the last slide of my presentation. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. What I show here is let's tackle the challenges ahead together, because as you can see, the trends are huge. The problems are here. The impacts of the industry could be significant. And this is why it's a teamwork. We need to all work together. So I see it's time to finish. So I'd like to thank you for your patience with me, and I wish you enjoying the rest of the conference and have a nice day.